The Tate brothers have arrived in Florida, and all conservatives, Ron Desantis, are freaking out, saying they're not welcome. So let's pull up one of these stories from ABC News. Andrew Tate in Brotherland in Florida. DeSantis says they're not welcome. The controversial influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate have landed in Florida after Romanian officials announced that their court restrictions prohibiting them from leaving Romania while awaiting trial were lifted. The pair were traveling aboard a private jet after being allowed to leave Romania. The Tates are accused of human trafficking and forming an organized criminal group with the goal of sexually exploiting women in 2 cases in Romania. I'll say accused there. They haven't been convicted of anything, and this has been going on for a while. Let me just say this. The Tate brothers I don't know if they still are, they were involved in some stuff that I don't condone. It's degenerate. And it's definitely not conservative, but I'm not conservative. So I understand conservatives not embracing them. But at the same time, a lot of it's shady. A lot of those governments seem corrupt. And it seems like every time they come after them, they're just confiscating like all their supercars and stuff, like basically stealing from them. But they weren't convicted of any of this. And a couple of not all the women that they say are victims, or at least some of them, that they said victims are the mother of their children. And so I don't know why this is such a big deal and why DeSantis feels the need to come out and publicly say they're not welcome in Florida. Like, they weren't criminally charged with anything. They weren't convicted of anything. It's just 2 dudes traveling. Do you do that? Like, it'd be like me coming out and saying, "Net, you're not welcome in this state because I don't like the stuff you guys do." And whether you like it or not, again, I don't condone a lot of the stuff that they've done in their past for sure. But I like Tristan Tate posts some good stuff on X, some funny stuff. They're both funny guys. Some of it's over the top with Andrew particularly. I feel he's trolling half the time. And yeah, as a, traditional values type, family values, I don't agree with Andrew Tate. He posts stuff like you need to have children with as many women as possible. I think that's degenerate. I think all polygamous societies collapse and turn into chaos. This is why Muslim countries have been just in pure chaos forever. You create incels when you have a bunch of men that are womenless and other men are hoarding them all. So I think history shows that. And this country, the reason it was able to become so great and successful, it was built on Christian monogamous family values. So, like it or not. Now, that said, I can say this and also understand, as I've mentioned in a previous video, when in regard to Elon Musk, world's richest man, 4 women, 13 different kids. Don't condone it. It's not conservative. It's not traditional. But I can also acknowledge throughout human history, men of means and high status, kings, etc., have always had multiple women. So it's nothing new. That said, I don't think it should be praised and hoisted up as something to look forward to or try to accomplish. But, yep, as said here, Andrew Tate said, "We've yet to be convicted of any crime in our lives ever. We have no criminal record anywhere on the planet ever." The case in Romania was dismissed in December 2024, and because they have no active indictment in court, the prosecutor recently decided to let them return to the U.S. However, the charges against the Tates remain enforced, and they will be expected to return to Romania for court appearances, according to a statement from Romania's Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism. The agency warned that failure to observe the remaining judicial restrictions could result in harsher restrictions being instated. The brothers had been confined to Romania since late 2022 when they were arrested on allegations of human trafficking, sexual abuse, money laundering, and forming an organized criminal group. They were charged in 2023. A second case began last year on similar charges involving more women. So I don't know perfectly the story, but the gist of it from what I know of them, and I don't condone this, but what people are doing with OnlyFans managers and that here in the States, it's the same thing. As I said, it's degenerate, but it's basically modern day pimping. These men are managers for these OnlyFans girls and basically run their accounts, run marketing for them. And it's basically the woman on OnlyFans is the modern day prostitute, and the man is the digital modern day pimp. This is precisely what the Tate brothers were doing, but it was way back when it was brand new, so they were probably the innovators of it. From my knowledge, they had a bunch of girls that worked on like cam sites, and the Tate brothers themselves, I think, would be the ones actually messaging these losers who are watching, thinking they're talking to the actual women. Again, same stuff that's going on with OnlyFans today. So I don't get why it's so wrong and heinous that they did it with these cam girls. Literally, people doing it with OnlyFans girls now. If you want to ban it and make it illegal, you know, it is degenerate. Go for it. But that's my take on it. As I said, don't condone what they did, but it's going on still, and nobody seems to have a problem with it when it involves these girls on OnlyFans. Um, and yeah, most girls that get involved in that line of work are damaged, have trauma, have um, pasts that involve probably SA or, as a child, which sucks. But if they're over 18, they're a consenting adult, then shame on them if they got involved in it. Like, yes, the Tate brothers, if they were doing this stuff, could be considered predatory, but I don't think it's anything illegal unless they're like physically forcing them into it and threatening their lives if they don't, which I haven't seen anything like that come out. They definitely um, have made enemies with a lot of the Democrat and left leaning individuals. So forgive me for not fully trusting all of the allegations that come forward on them, because just look what they've been doing to President Trump ever since he ran for president in the very beginning, and still are continuing to do, making up bogus charges against him and his political, just because they're political enemies. And conservative people, again, if you have a problem with, let me go over to this X post by Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire. All right. Let's see. Stop sharing. Got to reshare. Green. All right. The way conservatives and conservative organizations respond to Andrew Tate arriving on U.S. soil will tell you everything you need to know about them. Okay, again, why are we making such a big deal that two men convicted of nothing traveled to the United States? Who cares? They're probably going on like a tour of podcasts and stuff. Probably going to be on Fresh and Fit if I had to guess. Why are we getting so upset? Any organization or host who embraces him is engaged in far worse than simple grift, though it is that. Andrew Tate is the enemy of any traditional American conservatism. Now, I don't disagree with that last line, as I said. The stuff he's preaching, while there might be some decent stuff that I would agree with, it's definitely not traditional or conservative. I'm not conservative. I just do believe in nuclear family, two-parent household type stuff, which is traditional. And I think everything they preach goes against that. That said, I don't think they preach it to just everybody. They're preaching it to men of means like themselves. They got a lot of money. Um, so I can acknowledge, like, yeah, I don't agree with the way they're living their life and what they're teaching men, but most men aren't going to be able to live up and achieve what the Tate brothers are. So they're not even going to be able to pull it off if they try. And reason I roll my eyes when people like Jeremy Boring and other conservatives are up in arms is you're not calling out these fake trad thoughts that are just LARPing as conservatives. As I mentioned, Elon's newest baby mama, Ashley Sinclair, fake conservative, propping up single motherhood, getting knocked up by the world's richest man just so she'd be taken care of the rest of her life. Let's see, what's another one? Lauren Southern was cheating on her husband, even though she claimed to be some trad wife. And the rumor has it she was banging the degenerate Coomer gremlin Destiny, who was basically known for being a cuck and letting his now ex-wife, surprise, surprise, it didn't work, but letting her go out with other men and get railed out by other men. So that's who so-called conservative women are having affairs with. There's a couple conservative women in politics right now that are in Congress that are involved in some questionable activities. Again, adultery and such. So if you're going to call one out, call them all out or stop being fake outraged because that's what I can't stand. You can condone what they do. I get it. They're not conservative, but they do lean right. They probably helped get Trump elected. And I'm sorry, but they're far less degenerate than what the far left is these days. And I don't see you morally outraged when it comes to other prominent conservative influencers who are obviously just involved in pure grift. So, let me know in the comments, what do you think of the Tate brothers? Um, you know, don't condone what they're doing, but you don't have to condone everything they're doing to realize they probably do bring a good amount of people to the cause, to the MAGA movement in particular. And just because they're not preaching exactly what you believe, um, let's not always believe all of the allegations that the left and certain individuals throw their way, because we all know how they work. But we will see him probably. The Tate brothers, I imagine, will be on a couple podcasts coming up. I would imagine that's why they're here. But until next time, Trad West Podcast.